happened, but the emotional connection, wowzers. Yeah.
You read the bottom, but not this one.
Miriam tells you to move on from this whole Colonel Sanders obsession and focus on school. If being obsessed with Colonel Sanders is wrong, you don't want to be right. After a short argument, you both agree to go your separate ways. When you arrive at school, you encounter your rivals in the quad. You can tell from a distance that they're picking on Pop, though he himself might not quite grasp that fact. Because you know he's Pop. What the swirly? It sounds delicious. Oh great. I'll order you up one right away. I'll have my swirly with sprinkles, please. Hee hee. Sprinkles is a dog and a treat. You can't get your swirly dipped too. It says why can't.
Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah. Why don't you pick on someone your own size? Because I'm literally the biggest person at this school. There is that horse that Colonel Sander rides to school. But who would dare pick on such a gentle and beautiful creature? You've got some nerve, Luca, suggesting I pick on a defenseless horse. Now you're twisting my words and I won't have it. You clench your fist, but the injury from yesterday's mixer accident makes you wince in pain. Doesn't look like you could go on cooking like that. Might as well just give up. I'll never give up, ever! Colonel Sanders arrives just as it appears things are close to boiling over. A naturally intuitive person, he senses that something has been going on. Yes, people, Colonel Sanders would be a Jedi Knight Master and he senses something in the Force. Only it's like use the sporks. What?
Silly.
Is everyone excited for the final day of school? Luca, how's that hand feeling? I'm sure you'll be back in fighting form by this afternoon. Aren't you concerned about my hands, Colonel? Yesterday, I almost broke a nail winning so hard.
Look at his face. He is not impressed.
He is not amused. Technically, I don't believe a winner was decided. But your presentation was quite impressive. What is he doing complimenting her? But what about the flavor of my delicate, warm, gooey chocolate sauce?
Look at his face.
Yikes. It was clear that you're passionate about how your food is received. That's a lot of words to say it was bland. Excuse me, Luca.
Ooh.
I am more than capable enough to speak for myself. Maybe you could tell me more of your thoughts as we walk into class, Colonel. I'm always interested in discussing the fine art of fine foods. See you inside, Luca. I need something to...
Well, go ahead.
Okay. Excuse me. Annoyed by Colonel Sanders' inability to see Ashley for who you know she really is, you walk across the quad to get some distance. In an attempt to distract yourself from how slighted you feel by that interaction with Ashley, you take out the spell book you recovered yesterday and start flipping through the pages. Whoa, that's that book! It looks like bad news. It's just something I found lying around. It would appear to be some sort of grimoire, but I really don't believe in that magic stuff. A grimoire? Like a book of spells? I don't know. Who would spend so much time decorating a magic book if it weren't really powerful? I can think of one surefire way to find out. Uh-oh. You open a page covered with arcane warnings. With arcane warnings. Cast only in case of extreme emergency. It says around the edges of the page.
What?
I could use a spell here that says it will erase anyone I choose from all of my memories. If I scrub out Colonel Sanders, it would probably help me focus better on the upcoming final exam. That is way drastic. Couldn't you do something else? Like anything else not rooted in dark magic? Maybe tie a string around your finger? Okay, fine. It is drastic. But desperate times calls for desperate measures. You've got a memory erasing spell sitting right in front of you and a pretty good excuse to try it out. Uh-oh. I don't do it. Take your friend's advice and put the book away. It's almost time for class. Sprinkles is already in the room, waiting for the students to arrive. He clears his voice to make a big announcement. I want you all to know I feel something of a dog moment coming on, but I assure you, it's nothing to be afraid of. His cute little nose scrunches up and he begins to breathe quickly. I better cook the bottom. Sprinkle stops in his tracks. He focuses in on the window. The room is deadly silent. When you follow his gaze, you see a tiny orange squirrel perched on the cherry tree outside. Sprinkle turns feral and runs to the window of the classroom. He begins barking uncontrollably at the squirrel outside. Arf, 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 arf.
It doesn't say how.
Well, he barks uncontrollably in a feral manner. It barks. Oh. Terrence! I told you never to come back here, Terrence. I will destroy you, Terrence! Arf! It doesn't say bark in that, but that's how dogs can get. Sprinkles is barking ferociously. Drew flying off of his face. Arf! 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 Squirrel looks over, but he doesn't say anything back. You wonder, is that even a talking squirrel? Who named him Terrence? You'd better not show your chubby cheeks around here ever again! Oh, woo! After Sprinkles is satisfied that his presence has been felt by not only Terrence, but any other squirrel in hearing distance, he returns to his professional tone. I apologize for the outburst. This actually brings up an important point. Thank you, Luca, for reminding me to dole out this indispensable bit of wisdom. You see, but before he could go any further, Miriam's love drama spills over into the class. Sprinkle is interrupted by words, and sparks come from the back of the room.
What?
I told you to save it for after class. Bzzzt, bzzzt. You think I wanted to be thrown from a plane, strapped to a stranger? Miriam and Clank appear to be arguing, but you still haven't learned to speak Clank's language of mechanical noises. But no! You had to show off your cool kid friends Jeff and Joan, Jay and Jay forever! Watch us form a triangle in midair as we descend. Triangles are the strongest shape, don't you know? Bzzzt. Bzzzt. Yeah, well, that doesn't make it a great date. Beep, beep. Then take Jeff and Joan with you. You can all hold hands as you pedal down the mountain or off a cliff for all I care. Clank begins to shudder. Steam pours out of the gaps in his panels, then a loud ding stops him in his tracks. Beep! Bzzz.
Did you kill him?
Oh my gosh. No amount of seasoning is going to make me want to eat that Clank.
What?
Oh, Clank burps out a completely deeply fried sneaker. Considering that he himself has wheels, not feet, it's not entirely clear where it came from.
Ugh.
Dude, it came from your mouth! It came from Clank's mouth. In terms of deep fried footwear, I guess it looks okay. Clank slowly rolls out of the room to be alone with his shoes. Everyone tries to pretend like they didn't see that entire thing go down. Nothing like a loud public breakup to cast a pall over the final day of school. Well, that was unfortunate. But we mustn't be distracted from what lies ahead. The final competition showdown challenge exam. I'm still working on the title, but I think you get it. Test time approaches. See you all in the arena. But before you can think about your upcoming competition, there's a very beautiful soul nearby in need of a pep talk. Hey, Miriam, are you okay? Okay, I'm so mad I could smash a tiny mug, spilling several droplets of hot cocoa all over the floor. How could he embarrass me in class like that, in front of everyone? Her tiny cocoa is a delicious treasure, so you know that this breakup is no joke, even if the source of her frustration is such a silly boy. I know that you know this, but I'm gonna say it out loud. You don't need anyone. Me and you, we're gonna cruise this final test and hit the carpool lane to Success City. Miriam brightens up, imagining the wind rushing through her short bangs, but she hesitates to embrace the feeling all the way. You're not gonna saddle up on Colonel Sanders' stallion and ride off into the sunset without me. Of course not. Well, maybe, sort of, but I'm sure there's a pony out there with your name on it, and a ranch big enough for both of us and whoever else we want to bring along. If it's not Pop or Clank or anyone else you meet today, tomorrow, or this whole year, so what? You're a special person who shouldn't settle for the first someone to show a little interest anyhow.
Yeah.
Be yourself, girl. Who cares if you don't get married?
Yeah.
The saints are single too. Well, some of them are. Miriam gives you a big hug and wipes the tears from her cheek. Throat was parched. Excuse me. Excuse me. I should really review my menu for today. I'm going to make a very special soup. And I bet that Professor Dog is gonna love it up. While you were pep talking Miriam, you completely missed lunch. But that's okay, because you had a better idea of how to spend the time before your exam. You decided to head to the arena early to practice a dish. This is it, the location of your final challenge, a test of will, a test of courage, a test of talent, and a chance to beat the pants off of Fan, the supposed man, and his eviler counterpart, Ashley. As planned, you begin to run through a quick test of a recipe you've been planning to work on. Luca's famous chicken pot pie. I know it's not what it said, but I misread it.
That's okay.
After practicing for months, making this dish comes second nature to you, and you're able to quickly get a fresh pot pie in the oven. But as soon as you do, your cram session is interrupted by Colonel Sanders. Luca, what are you doing here? There's still time before the final exam. Oh, just taking it all in. I'm big into visualizing success. I'm looking at my station and picturing victory. The pot pie has begun to bake, and the smell is slowly filling the space around you. Visualizing, huh? That's too bad. I was hoping you were here cooking something delicious. You'd usually happily share your food with anyone who is hungry, but the last time you let Colonel Sanders get it in your head, it cost you a cook-off. You decide that it's time to put your cooking above your romantic desires, but that decision gets hard to stick to when the oven timer goes off around you. I'd fess up about the practice dish. Okay, you got me. I'm doing a little bit more than visualizing. I know. My nose can smell a pot pie from 400 yards. That's an oddly specific distance, but you'd expect nothing less from such an oddly specific man. You knew it was a pot pie just from the smell? Not just a pot pie, but a chicken pot pie with an all-better crust. And my nose is telling me something else. Oh no, is it burning? Haha, no. I can smell that it was made with a heaping help of TLC. But it'll probably start burning any second if you don't pull it out. The moment of truth. Wow. It's the best pot pie I ever tasted. I've always loved country cooking, and I could eat this all day. There's no time left. The final showdown is about to begin. Sprinkles lays down the ground rules. There are no rules. That is, expect to cook with everything you've got. You step up for the cook-off of a lifetime. You decide that mac and cheese plus the pot pie you've been practicing are just the dishes that'll push you over the edge to victory. Meanwhile, both Fan and Ashley are prepping wildly elaborate dishes per their usual over-the-top selves. Miriam has her giant magnifying glass and several sets of tweezers. She's definitely prepared to go big going small. Colonel Sanders seems to be harnessing his 11 herbs and spice, but he's really trying to find a way to improve on something perfect. His original recipe, refined French mint, fried chicken.
What?
There was this R. I thought it was for refined
No.
French mint.
That's like a copyright.
A copyright fried chicken.
Or a trademark. Whatever.
Yeah. The intensity in the room starts at full 10 out of 10 with a frenzy of action.